board here, move forward for the cloud. Looks like that's happening. Okay, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. Today is April 1st, 2020. This is a business meeting of the North Kingstown School Committee. And pursuant to Executive Order 20-05 issued by the Governor of the State of Rhode Island as it's been amended, this meeting is being conducted electronically due to the current state of emergency in
I would ask everyone, I guess, to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Though I don't have a flag, I'm sorry. We will look to the nearest flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. And Mrs. Keeley, can you please call the roll?
Ms. Orr? Mr. Jones?
here.
Mrs.
Ms.
Hildebrand?
Gobert?
Here.
Oh wait, suddenly I can't hear people. Sorry. Something went wrong with my audio. Sorry about that. All right, sorry, could you do that again?
Mr. Glassbach?
Here.
Mrs. Hoskins?
Here.
Mrs. Hildebrand?
Here.
Mr. Mather?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mrs. Shaw? Joseph Bento?
Here.
And Ann Etchell.
Thank you.
I'm hearing an echo. Ms. Healy, is it possible for you to mute so we don't get that from your computer?
Sure. Sorry.
I think mine too. This should fix it. So, were there any citizens' comments, or are you still checking?
There were no citizens' comments.
That's it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry about that. And to anyone watching at home, sorry this is new, and it's not going to be the most seamless, perfect meeting, but we'll get it done and do what we can. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. O'Shea, I'll turn things over to you.
Thank you. So obviously, what I'd like to spend the time on my report talking about is distance learning in North Kingstown. This is a very difficult time for us all. It's a very anxious time. It's a time when people are concerned about their safety and about their kids and about their livelihoods. And so I couldn't be more proud of our staff for stepping up and really the entire community to support our kids with their education. That's been so inspiring. As you remember, I was really doubtful about what we could do, what any district could do at our last time we met and we talked about this, and I'm very pleasantly surprised to see the results that are coming from North Kingstown. I just would like to say how proud I am of our central office staff. They're incredible people. Their resourcefulness, creativity, commitment, it's like I've never seen before. They're working all day, all night, weekends to get this done. And the same is true for our principals, the same is true for our teachers and support staff. It has really been an incredible commitment to everybody, and I couldn't be more proud. We are now about a week and a couple of days into this work. And at the end of the first week, we sent a survey out to parents. And I'm pleased to report that we got 621 responses to that survey, and about 75% of the parents left us with some comments. So there is quite a bit that they reported to us, and we spent a lot of time as an administrative team, digesting those comments and coming up with some responses that I'd like to kind of report out on tonight. So, overwhelmingly, the responses were very positive, and I really appreciate the fact that so many parents are reaching out to us with so many appreciative and positive comments for the work that is being done. They realize that these are really difficult conditions, that there are going to be a lot of problems in logistics that we need to figure out as we go, and they're working with us, and I couldn't be happier about that. One of the biggest concerns that we've heard about, if I could break these out into themes, is that the first is slow internet. So I'm just going to read to you something from a letter that I'm going to send to the entire community a little later tonight. So North Kingstown School Department, like most schools in Rhode Island, through our internet service provider, which is called Ocean, O-S-H-E-A-N, is fortunate enough to have fiber optic cables that run from Rhode Island to New York City and Boston without ever hitting the internet when students and staff are working on campus. Now that schools are closed, all of the traffic is being pushed out through the internet and not through the school's private fiber network. So in Rhode Island alone, that means that 142,000 students plus teachers who are using Google services 3 weeks ago through their school's private networks are all using public internet service providers like Cox and Verizon. These new users, coupled with more than 80% of the U.S. population now working from home, is obviously putting a lot of stress on all service providers. What we have found as a suggestion for this is that the mornings are the slowest time, when everyone wants to engage, and we understand that. And so we are encouraging everyone to find alternative times whenever possible. So if they've received some work, that if some of that work requires some internet connection, that they may want to save that work for another time of day, and hopefully their speeds will improve. But there's always room for better equipment and that sort of thing. But generally speaking, we are in very good shape in terms of the equipment that we have. We're noticing that the issue is more with service providers nationwide. We're not alone with this slowdown. So we want people to know that, because that's been the number one concern coming to us. We also have the second concern is that there's a perception out there that more work than usual is being assigned to students. It's interesting, sometimes we get comments from two parents with kids in the same classroom, and one is saying, I feel there's so much more work being assigned to students than ever before. What's going on with that? And another parent is saying, I don't feel like you're assigning as much as you used to. So there's something about perception there, and I think that will vary from teacher to teacher, student to student, parent to parent, but it is something that we are aware of, and we're sure that this has a lot to do with the context being very different. Learning from home and all the anxiety and stress that people are dealing with outside of school are really coming into play. And I feel, and I know our leadership team and teachers feel, that we need to understand that, and we need to, in a lot of cases, just slow it down a little bit and be understanding that people are dealing with a lot right now, and we're going to do the best we can. But we're sending the message that it's not, plowing ahead. That we need to be understanding when it comes to deadlines. We need to be understanding when it comes to flexibility about how and when assignments get done. Some parents have mentioned that they notice in some cases there's some face-to-face time, like a whole classroom Google Meets or a Zoom session, while in other cases they're not noticing that with another student, say in another school or another level. While some of our teachers are experiencing good results with live sessions, we're not requiring these district-wide. We find that too many of these are not getting the participation we would desire because of student and family scheduling problems and slow internet. When a teacher may have an idea about, I need all the students in at a certain time, that may not work with the family, and it may not work that the internet is available at that time. And we're noticing a number of situations where those classes are not full, and it's not because people wouldn't want to be there. want teachers to be available for direct interaction at some point during the school day, and that is happening. But we feel that, having everybody do those kinds of live sessions that are getting so much, airtime right now, is not really doable. Even if we did it, we feel like a lot of students would still miss. And then communication. While we got a lot of praise for the communication that was sent out, and I'm thankful for that, we agree with many of the comments that we've reached that fewer emails and at more regular times help lessen the anxiety of feeling overwhelmed with information. So to that end, we're moving to have all teachers post all required work by 9 a.m. each day, and we'll do more to condense school-wide and district-wide emails. In fact, on this email tonight, I'm also coupling that with the new school calendar, which is on your agenda tonight, which is something I would hope the school committee would approve. It follows Governor Raimondo's recommendations, and that would include distance learning for the month of April, at least the month of April. She has said it is likely to go longer, but she is taking this incrementally. And these would include 3 days where students would not be coming to school or not be in session. And those are April 3rd, this Friday, which would be a professional day, not necessarily a professional development day, but a day for planning for our teachers. The 9th, which would match what's already a day off, which is Good Friday the 10th, and that would be an additional day off, and the 17th. And our approach to this is that these would not be days where students or staff would be required any assignments that are due or any work they would need to be doing during that time. These are days to try to lower the stress a bit. 3rd and 17th would be days where our teachers can catch up on their work. They are reporting that under these circumstances, it's creating a lot of work for them. They're working day and night to make sure that they are ready for this format and these days. And so I think we need to be mindful of that. I'm sure that's the governor's approach here. And of course, we don't know that that's the end of the school calendar announcements. We don't know where this is going to go. We don't know with certainty how we're going to do graduations and proms and those other kinds of things. So we're still kind of in a holding pattern on those kinds of items. And I would bet that the governor is going to have a lot of say on those as we move forward too. We just don't know how long the social distancing will need to occur and how that will affect group gathering, particularly graduations. So we do, no matter what, plan on celebrating the class of 2020 somehow, some way, but we're going to take that as it comes. We have some time to figure that out. So we just need to be mindful of our North Kingstown School Department families and our North Kingstown School Department staff, their families, and how hard this is logistically, economically, physically, and mentally. And we need to be patient and understanding with one another. That's the message I want to send with every email I'm putting out there. And fortunately, that has occurred. And we're getting good results because of that. It's not exactly the same, obviously, as the regular program. Feel definitely sad about sports being on hold for the time being, in particular. But there is a lot of good that we're able to produce because of this, and I appreciate our whole group of employees and the community for coming together and rallying around this cause. That's my report. I don't know if there are any questions.
Any questions from anyone? All right, thank you very much. And I just want to, on behalf of the school committee, thank the teachers, the support staff, the administration, everyone in the school department for stepping up in a situation that obviously no one has ever seen anything like this before. And the amount of work and programs that have been put together out of thin air virtually over the past couple weeks is amazing. I mean, if we think back to where we were 4 weeks ago and we look at where we are today, and it's come a very long way. And I think it's only, the kinks are starting to get ironed out of it. Adjustments are being made where they need to be made. And I want to thank everyone for the tremendous amount of hard work and effort that's gone into getting us where we are today.
Mr. Blaswell, if I can make one more comment.
Sure.
I think this is a good group to talk about this point with. About 5 years ago, Mr. Waterman came on. It was around the same time that we were putting together a district strategic plan around technology. And his leadership has been incredible. I think he's been putting in about 36-hour days, if that's possible, the last few weeks. But also, kudos to this school committee and past school committees for supporting our technology plan. Without those Chromebooks, without the internet that we have, and all of the professional development days that we've done with our staff, those things matter. And over the past 5 or 6 years, we've done them with purpose and strategically, and we're seeing a benefit from that right now. And so when people are asking, where's those tax dollars going to, in this case, they went to a really good product, and we're seeing the benefits right now.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, so if not, we'll move on to routine items. I was not present for part of the executive session this evening, so I need a motion to seal the executive session minutes of this evening. A motion from Ms. Hoskins. Second, Mr. Jones. All those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And Ms. Seeley, can you disclose if any votes were taken in this evening's executive session? Oh, she's muted, I think. Mr. Jones, you were present for the whole thing, so
Yes, no, I can disclose that no votes were taken during executive session.
thank you.
Sorry about that.
No problem. That's okay. It's new for everybody. This will not be seamless. So moving on, if I can have any exemptions from the consent agenda.
C1.
Oh, that is, yes, Sarah. Yep, so we'll exempt C1. Any others? Then I'd ask for a motion to approve the non-exempted consent agenda items.
Minutes from the last meeting, I'm sorry, I wasn't.
Yes, so we'll back up. So it has minutes of March 24th, which was the last meeting, yes. So you want to exempt B3?
Yes.
Okay. So we're exempting B3 and C1. If I can have a motion to to approve the non-exempted consent agenda items.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Hoskins.
Second.
Second from Mr. Mather. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes unanimously. So the next would be, if I could have a motion to approve item B3.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Hildebrand,
Second.
and a second from Mr. Mather. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Same.
Ms. Hoskins abstaining. So that passes 4-0. And I'm going to ask for a motion to table item C1.
So moved.
Motion from Mr. Jones,
Second.
second from Ms. Hoskins. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes unanimously. So next for D1, I don't necessarily think we need to make any really formal motions. Essentially, our last motion was giving the superintendent some emergency powers during the state of emergency, which is still in effect. Those would carry forward, and essentially, what I think we'd be directing you to do, and anyone who disagrees can speak up, but Right now, we are in distance learning pursuant to the order of the governor and the commissioner through the end of this month, with more instructions to come. In the event anything changes or develops further, we may change or provide additional guidance, but other than that, I think we continue on as we've been doing before. Any other comments or discussion on continuing operations? Mr. Jones?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Yeah, I want to echo the points you made. And Phil, just for clarification, you have the ability, for example, to work with the teaching assistants where you could assign them, say, off hours, like weekends or something, in lieu of their regular schedule on a day, for them to be available to provide support when maybe families who have other stuff going on, especially parents or whatever, could be more available.
We've been very flexible, as has the ESP union, about, yes, flexibility with support staff, scheduling and assignments, yes.
Okay. Because I was just thinking, one thing is, if we could have, I know we don't have the ARC, well, maybe we could even run an ARC virtually, but, to find some ways of providing off hours tutoring or other support.
Work it out, because, nice.
Any other comments? Okay, then we've reached the end of the agenda, so at this point, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion for Ms. Hoskins,
Second.
second Mr. Mather. All those in favor, aye?
All right.
We are adjourned. I think that went pretty well. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Stay safe, everyone.
All right, Greg, you've got to close the meeting.
Yep, and
But I was able to stop recording.
good. I was gonna say, because I went to do it and it wasn't there, and I was